Ceia's Tiny Terrors, a micro-series of tales of the macabre. A quick little intro today. We just want to thank our new listeners for joining us in our macabre tales of woe. And now, The Sticks, Part 2. I've never run so fast in my life. The clicking and clacking of the creature's legs as it slapped against the trees behind me threw me into a tailspin of emotion. I did my best to weave in and out of the small, tight trees of the forest, making sure to give it as rough of a time as possible to get after me. I could hear its hisses of frustration, as if it was right in my ear with its mandibles close to snapping the flesh. The cabin was so far away from everyone and everything, and I didn't trust going back to the main house. I didn't know what was going on or what I was going to do or how to get away. A sudden stumble, and it was close enough to me to slash one of its legs across my back. I can feel the hot warmth of my blood trickling down my shirt as I continued to run, screaming my head off. The wound burned so bad, but I couldn't stop. And as I ran, the flesh opened and closed with the pumping of my muscles. I screamed and screamed, but I kept running. I had to run. I had to get from it. The thin branches and sticks from the trees around me scratched at my face and arms. I didn't know if blood or sweat was running into my eyes, but they began to burn, and I could barely see. I was finally given some hope. I saw a house with the lights on and threw myself as quickly as I could against the door, begging, pleading, screaming, wailing at the top of my lungs. D&D's neighbor, Mrs. Thomas, opened the door, and I fell in, scrambling from the entrance as fast as I could. "Shut the door," I screamed. "Shut it, please. Please, oh my God." She slammed the door shut and locked it, but I don't think she heard the terrible hissing outside of it. Here I was, a 13-year-old girl, covered in blood and scratches like I had been attacked by a wild animal, or more accurately, a giant demonic insect, but I can't tell her this. I tried to, honestly. I told her about what happened, and I told her about the twins. I told her about the spell book, but she couldn't believe me. She called D&D's parents, and they went out to the cabin where we were. I guess the creature doubled back, angry that it missed a meal, and took it out on those too. All that was left was a leg. They identified it as Diane's from the anklet that she wore. The rest of the cabin was splattered with blood. I was labeled insane. My stories of giant centipede creatures was just too much for everyone to handle. Well, not everyone. The twins' mother came and visited me in the asylum right after I had been admitted. She tearfully apologized to me again and again, but couldn't exactly say for what or why. But I could see the pain in her eyes, and I could hear her small curses in German. This is where I've been ever since, locked up in asylum after asylum. I could lie and pretend it never happened. I could pretend that the scar on my back and on my arms and on my face were just from some maniac that broke in and attacked us, like the police report said. But People are still disappearing from those woods, with only body parts left behind. I could lie to myself, but I can't lie about that. This work is copyright 2023 by Ceia Rights Media. All rights reserved. No duplication or reproduction of this work is permitted without the written consent of Ceia Rights Media.